explain it again. Otra vez, again. Buenos días, ¿cómo están todos? ¿Están bien? ¿Están bien?
Sí, sí,
Bien,
muy bien.
excelente. Hoy es día de votar, sí, voten, get out there and vote, however you're gonna, if you didn't already. I personally do not like waiting in line, so yeah, I was an early bird. Okay, vale. Muy bien. I record every class we do. Just some housekeeping things before we really start. I record every class that we do and I upload it to YouTube. This is so that you will have a link to that and you can go back and watch something again. Or, you know what? Uh, People replacing your windows in your house. That was me a few weeks back. People who have doctor appointments, you have to miss class. You can go back and watch the class. So that's why we record classes. Para que sepan, just so you know. Um, this is our little housekeeping, just information, 30 seconds. Um, After class, sometime in the afternoon, you will get an email from me, and the email will have the link to watch that YouTube recording of class if you had a doctor's appointment, you know, had to babysit the grandkids, whatever happens in your life. It also will have every link for on-screen things that we did. So, what I want you to know is with a class like this, even if you were in person, it's not that much different. Your full attention is good, and your job is to come here and be a sponge and absorb and not take a lot of time writing and taking your eyes away from the screen. Okay. So everything that we do in writing, you will get in the form of a little file. Okay. Every video that we watched, you will get a link to that in that email. So that email will be a long email. If you don't see it, that means it might have sent it to spam because it's got so many links. So go look for it. Has your YouTube link, all the videos we used in class, all the links for any written out files, which are essentially class notes, okay, of what we did in class. And it will have your little homework assignment. Okay. Last bit of housekeeping. Oh, I lied. There are two. Hay dos. There are two. This is what the book looks like. This is merely a reference book. We will not march through it in order. It is written for high school students. Therefore, once in a while, there will be some sort of reference that you'll think, that sounds like what you'd say to a teenager. Well, that's why. Um, but this is a reference just to, for me, I will not in linear order, but I will give you various pages to read through. Okay. Each week. This is just to give you some more vocabulary and to give you a framework of ideas you should be aware of. Okay, so if you wish to be very linear, because some people, their brains work better that way, and you wish to go through and read, hey, go for it. Um, but ideally, if you did not do it before, you should probably read through at least the first uh, three chapters, maybe four. That sounds like a hideously large amount. However, there is a lot of negative space. So you get a lot of blank lines. It's not dense reading. Yeah. And so this has a lot of rule-based things that will be helpful, and you'll get various things to read through from there. Um, ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Okay, what else? I do need to let you know because of the way that fall is split up with Scottsdale system into a first fall and a second fall, this class is a mixed class. So that means some people have had a little bit and some have not. Those of you who've had a little bit of Spanish, some of this will be repeat information, but given in a different way. So, review is always good. Okay. For those of you who are brand new, do not despair that some people have had a little bit. But this will be a somewhat different tack. I will be taking a different tack than what I did in the first part of fall. The methodology is going to be somewhat different. And here is how that is going to go. I will give you some structural, grammar-based instruction. And by the way, always feel free to interrupt me during class when you need something explained, clarified, give an example. Always feel free to interrupt me. It is not rude. It just means I need to pay attention to something else and address that before I go back to the main thought. Okay. How is this a different tack? It is going to be more thematic in nature. Um, each class will have a specific kind of thematic structure that will be more oriented around storytelling as a vehicle of uh, learning words in chunks, meaning certain words hang together to give a certain phrase. Uh, so that's why I don't want you to copy furious notes furiously during class, but to really pay attention and absorb what is going on. Okay. It'll be a more story-based and thematic thing. That means today will be pronunciation and introductions and a story with some related words. Okay. The story is going to give you both vocabulary and the way certain words hang together in phrases. So that is our tack. That makes it both fresh for the returning people and a little bit different, mixed in with some review. That makes it meaningful and informative for new people. Okay. So for the new people, the structure, well, for everybody, the structure with the storytelling is going to be based around themes like words that be important going to an airport, words that are important going in a store, words that are important going in a restaurant. Okay? Bien. Vale. All right. Here's where we're going to start. And some of you might have missed it in the introductory email I had sent about a week back. So if you did, don't stress about it too much. But we are going to look at pronunciation first. There was a little video that went through some things with pronunciation. If you didn't watch that, I'll include it in the email at the end of class. But we are going to talk about pronunciation first because you'll see words on the screen. And, that's an important thing to be able to navigate. If you want to see why that is important, I'm going to show you just for the yuck it up, for the funny thing. There is a video I saw recently on the internet with a guy humorously making a video of why English is such a nightmare. And it is such a nightmare because he shows this word, bear. And the guy repeats, bear. The guy's learning English, right? And then he says, okay, how do you pronounce? This is to show you why phonetics is important. Now, oh, almost the same, but there's one letter added to the end. He says, the first word is bear. How do you pronounce this next word? And the person says beard. And he goes, no, beard, beard. Isn't that obvious? Beard. Yeah. Uh, yeah, because even though these are only different by one letter, English is not very, English does weird things. English is a nightmare for people. I pity people who have to learn English as a second language. I think it's really, really difficult. Our language is difficult. We do not follow set phonetic rules. Okay. So that kind of silly joke aside, let's take a look at pronunciación. For those of you who are returning, this is a good review. It'll be different than what you did the first time. Pronunciación. Los sonidos de las letras. Los sonidos, the sounds. You'll hear the lo, el, la, los, las. You'll hear the words a lot in Spanish. You'll hear the word the way more in Spanish than you do in English. Los sonidos, the sounds. Los sonidos de las letras, sounds of the letters. Spanish is very phonetic, very phonetic. That means there are very few silent letters. And what you see written down, the way it is spelled, that's the way you say it 90% of the time. It's not like bear and beard. Yeah, it's not like that. Okay. It is very phonetic 90% of the time. What you see is what you say. 90% because 10%, it could even be a little less, to be very honest with you. There is always an outlier, oddball thing. There's an odd thing. So we're going to take a look at those today. And we're going to look at it a little bit differently. We're not really going to look at it as strictly as an A, B, C, D, E, F, G nursery song, but we are going to look at letters. And here is the core. This is like, if you learn this, you will be understood. Vowels. Vowels. If you ignore everything else on this slide set that you get in the email after class, if you ignore everything else and you focus only on this, you will get 90% of the time, you'll be able to pronounce the word properly. Vowels are the key. Vowels are gold. Vowels are like nuclear. If you get vowels wrong in Spanish, it makes it very hard for a Spanish speaker to understand you. If you get the vowels right, your chances of being understood go way up most of the time. So, okay, no pressure, but you got to get these right. Here's why it's easy to get these right. A in English is ah, a, uh. Never make this sound in Spanish. Never make that sound. That is the schwa. The schwa is a evil demon, red-horned, snorting fire, bad sound in Spanish. Anytime you say the sound in Spanish, nobody will understand the word you really mean. And I mean, ha ha ha. It's true. If you say the sound and it is ubiquitous in English, gobs of words have the sound. If you say that schwa sound in Spanish, automatically they're not sure what you're saying. They really are not sure because it doesn't exist. And they're thinking, what do they really mean? Well, okay, here's what we really mean. And I've thrown a thing that's not always really a vowel in the vowels because it's kind of a thing. In Spanish, while I think somebody technically broke it down, some linguist who's smarter than I am, A has 19 possible sounds in English. That's hideous. 19? Seriously? Okay, but maybe 6 or 8 for the normal of those of us thinking and regular people think, not linguists think. A in Spanish has only one sound. E in Spanish has only one sound. I in Spanish has only one sound. O in Spanish has only one sound. U in Spanish has only one sound. And the Y, the Y, because it's always sometimes Y, that thing you maybe learned in grade school as a kid in the US, if you grew up in the US. Y has 2 sounds, but they're easy. They're easy. Okay, so these letters will only make one sound. It's not a, It's not all that. It's only and they're shorter. They're shorter. They're not dragged out. There's no drawl with it. Okay, so, and you'll get a video later with more examples than what I have. Okay, repitan, por favor. Repitan, por favor. Casa.
Casa.
Casa. And never say casa.
Casa.
You may say, well, that sounds close enough. Close enough ain't good enough, folks. Close enough ain't good enough because, pardon my English, close enough is not good enough because they'll wonder what sound you really mean. Yeah. So casa needs to come out as casa. Casa. Okay. Pasa.
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 Pasa. That's something somebody may say
Pasa.
when they mean come on in. Pasa. Pasa, por favor. Okay. The next one. Sal.
Sal.
Sal. Something you sprinkle
Sal.
on your burger. Sal. Sal. Sal.
Sal.
And notice
Sal.
sal is not
Sal.
sal, is not sal. Sal.
Sal.
Sal.
The L, if you want to
Sal.
sound like really authentic, yeah. The L. Yeah. Yeah, you got that tongue action going on with an L. It's not a deal breaker, the L, but the is a deal breaker. Yeah. You say sal, they got no idea what you mean. Truly, none. Okay. So and always The name of the letter is A. Here's the name of this letter. E. Sounds like E. Think Fonzie. Except you got to cut it short.
Hey,
Okay, let's take some words that have in them. Mente.
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 Here's one that's going to sound weird because it's got a J, but the J won't do what you think. Lejos.
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 Lejos means far away. You're going to get this in your
Lejos.
storytelling. You're going to be amazed at how I fold this stuff in. Oh my gosh. Okay, next one. Está.
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 And we punch the at the end more, but that at the front is Yeah? Está.
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 That's in the phrase, ¿Cómo está? How are you? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo está?
How are you? ¿Cómo está? Okay. Bien.
¿Cómo está?
Oh, and I'm going to change one of my words here because ¿Cómo está? Brought this to mind. Okay. We have a, we have smile, Yeah. We have
I.
E is not the English letter E. E is this. E. And it always makes that sound and it's short. It's not E. It's E. E. Okay. Práctica.
Mi.
Me. Para que sepan, so you know. A simple way to order in a restaurant. If you don't want to have to construct a whole big long sentence and you're thinking, oh my God, I have to use a verb. Oh my God. It's just to say, para mí, which means for me. Para mí, vino, por favor. For me, wine, please. Para mí. Me means me. Okay? Not I, me. Okay. Here's another word, the word for here. Aquí.
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 Here's the opposite, not here, but there. Allí.
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 Always E. Never Never Always E. Okay. La letra. O. And O is not O.
Oh.
O, which is our long O, is drawled. And if you think, oh, she's crazy. No, it isn't. It is. Hello. Hola. Yeah. Oh. It is short. It is a long O, but it's O. And your mouth should be really a circle. Your lips should do a circle. O. Okay. So we have words like, you're going to hear this later, noches.
Noches.
Noches. Nice. Buenas noches is the good night phrase. Noches. We have the word for how. ¿Cómo?
¿Cómo?
¿Cómo? We have the word, you're going to hear this in the story. Boy.
Boy.
This sounds like our English word boy, but without a hard B. Boy. Boy means I'm going. Boy. Okay? So, boy. This will be always oh, 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 oh. This will be 90% of the time. Oh,
U.
this one sometimes goes rogue and goes silent. I'll tell you when. No big deal. Now we're going to focus on what it is 90% of the time. Oh, oh, like
Oh.
oh,
U.
oh.
Mm.
We condense our lips. Oh,
Mm.
oh, oh. Okay. We've got words like muy,
Muy.
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 We have the word that is the
Muy.
formal you. There are different ways to say you in Spanish. Here's the formal you. Formal means you're not on a first name basis with somebody. You're showing respect. Okay. Usted.
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 Usted. Okay.
Usted.
Here's another example. It's the kind of, it's the opposite ingredient of sal. It is azúcar.
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 Sugar. Azúcar. Azúcar. You might want that word at a cafe. You're having a coffee. If you're a person who uses sugar, or the waiter says, necesitas azúcar. Do you need sugar? You'll hear that word, azúcar, azúcar. And you'll notice when you see a little accent mark, it doesn't mean you pronounce the letter differently. It just means it's needing to show you for one reason or another that that is the syllable you punch. Because it's breaking a rule, don't worry about the rule, okay? It just means, oh, I need to punch that sound harder than the other sounds. Okay, azúcar, azúcar. Okay, this letter is called, in some places, ye, Latin America. In other places, Spain, Y, Greek I. What? Yeah, Y, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y if you're of a certain age in U.S. school, right? Okay. Y, or ye. Sometimes it can have two different sounds, but it's easy to distinguish. If it is the very last letter of a word, that means it is pronounced like this E sound. The same. E, because it's Y. Okay, Greek I. Okay, so if it's at the end, it is like that. E. So we have words like the word for today, hoy,
Hoy.
Hoy.
hoy,
Hoy.
hoy. Okay,
Hoy.
we have words like I am, soy,
Soy.
Soy.
soy,
Soy.
soy, like soy sauce. Yeah, soy. If the Y is not the last letter, if it's anywhere else in the word, in the middle, in the front, wherever, it'll be a Y sound. Ayer.
Ayer.
Ayer. Ayer
Ayer.
just means yesterday. Ayer.
Ayer.
Ayer. Okay. Here we go. Couple of exceptions with this vowel thing. These are a few exceptions. And they are exceptions because they come when we have words that have these specific combinations. Okay. These are specific combinations where the U goes silent. And these are the only two you need to know for now. Okay. Usually U gets the U sound, but if it is a combination like this, G-U-E or G-U-I, the U goes silent. All right. So those will sound like ge
Ge.
and gi.
Gi.
Okay. Some words do that, just so you know. Also, Q-U-E, Q-U-I. The U goes silent. Ke,
Ke.
ki.
Ki.
Okay. Let's see some examples of words that do that. Here's a word with the G-U-E. Sigue.
Sigue.
You would think if the U letter always sounds like U, why is that not sigue? Well, it's not. It goes silent because it's the G-U-E combo.
Okay.
Sigue.
Sigue.
Sigue. Okay. Here's a gi example. It's a diminutive, a cutesy way of saying friend. Amigo is friend. Amiguito is little friend. Amiguito, amiguito,
Amiguito.
amiguito, amiguito. You might
Amiguito.
say that
Amiguito.
about really little kids, like toddlers. Amiguito, amiguito.
Amiguito.
Okay, here are some examples of que and ki. There are certain question words that have the Q in them, Q-U-E, all right? And the word for what? Que,
Que.
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 It's not que, it's que,
Que.
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 Quiero.
And the key will not be, it will not be quiero, it'll be quiero,
Quiero.
quiero. Quiero is an important
Quiero.
one. You're going to hear this in a later lesson where we have a restaurant or a store thing. Okay. It means I want. That whole thing means I want. Notice you don't need the word I to say I want. You don't need the word I to say I want. You only need this one word, quiero, quiero. All right, but it's a key. So there are our vowels. If you practice nothing else this week, vale la pena. It is worth the effort. Vale la pena. It is worth it to practice. Really focus on those because if you get it right, you'll be understood. If you start to inject an A, an you will not be understood. People, you'll get a quizzical look, or they'll ask you to repeat, or they'll just have no clue what you mean. All right. So, vale. Bien. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Sometimes Y. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at what happens when vowels combine, because this is where people get like, they start to feel like it's a tongue twister. And again, like our example, like the silly example I had of, the word bear and beard. B-E-A-R, B-E-A-R-D. When we combine vowels in English, different things happen. And sometimes people tell you, well, it's a long vowel sound. And then sometimes that doesn't happen. But in Spanish, when we combine vowels, that means when vowels go next to each other, it doesn't mean like one letter will go silent. You must pronounce every letter. Okay? When vowels are right next to each other, you must pronounce each vowel. You have to. All right? They don't combine to form a magical new sound. Yeah. Each sound will be pronounced. They will slide together unless there's an accent mark. If there's an accent mark, that means that vowel will get a little more punch than the other one. Okay? And you'll see a couple of examples of that. So, por ejemplo, for example, this combines the I, E, E, and both of those have to be said if it's in a word. Ie, ie, ie.
Y.
And they'll merge, they'll slide together. So we have a word like bien,
Bien.
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 bien. See,
Bien.
I ask you, ¿cómo estás? How are
Bien.
you? Bien,
Bien.
bien, bien. We have the word for a day of the week. Viernes,
Viernes.
Viernes.
viernes,
Viernes.
viernes,
Viernes.
viernes, viernes,
Viernes.
viernes. We have a word which means open. If you see this like on a door sign, that means the store is open. Abierto,
Abierto.
Abierto.
abierto,
Abierto.
abierto, abierto,
Abierto.
abierto. Bien. Okay. Here are some, these are just some possible vowel combinations, vowels that are next to each other. All right. U, e, ue, ue, ue. It starts to sound like a wah in English. Yeah. Ue, 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 ue. Okay. We have the word for good. Bueno,
Bueno.
Bueno.
bueno. We have a different day of the week. Jueves,
Jueves.
Jueves. Okay. Bien.
Jueves.
Sometimes you'll even see two E's together, and that does not become like B-E-E-R in English, beer. It means I pronounce each E, but because they're next to each other, it'll get kind of dragged out. So, yeah, it'll sound like eh, instead of eh. Okay. So listen, it'll make more sense in a word. Leer,
Leer.
creer.
Creer.
Yeah. You're kind of saying the your drag. You do drawl. This is the only a sound that does get a drawl. Drag it out. Leer, because it's two next to each other. That's why. Okay. Let's look at how these two vowels sound if you see them written together or you hear them here. We've got a question word. The word for when is cuando.
Cuando.
U-a, 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 wa. Right? This was we. This is wa. We pronounce each vowel, they just slide together. So we have cuando.
Cuando.
We have guante.
Guante.
Okay. Here's another combination. U-i, we. Okay. Oh, here's a word you're going to hear in our greetings video. Cuídate.
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 Cuídate is like saying take care as you're departing from somebody, leaving them to go do something else. You say, oh, take care. Cuídate. Cuídate. Okay. Here's another we combination. Fuiste. So, be aware these combos are out there. Let's do two more. Dos más. Yo. Often, well, no, sometimes it has an X mark, sometimes not. Okay. We have the word for airplane. Avión. If you see this word, it means it's probably, if you see this word on a great big box on a street corner or a great big box in the airport, it means it's an exchange machine for exchanging money from a different country. Yeah. So you may see this on a sign somewhere. Cambio. Cambio. Perfecto. And finally, we're going to do one more vowel combination. These are common vowel combinations. You will get ia. Sometimes it might be ia, and sometimes it's just combined together, both equal. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at two common words that people might want to use. Farmacia.
Farmacia.
Bien. So, yeah. One last one. Oh, you're going to hear it in your greetings thing. Gracias.
Gracias.
Bien. Perfecto. So, when you see two vowels next to each other, just know we pronounce each one of those vowels. They don't make a magical different sound. Yeah. They just slide together. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Because in English, letters combine together, different ways, don't they? Okay. And if English was your first language, your brain will struggle because it wants to say it in English when it sees it. Your brain desperately wants it to be English. Your brain, you cannot stop that. Well, you can after much practice. But the normal person who grows up learning English first, whatever language you learned first, that's going to dictate what your brain wants to do. It's just the way our brains are wired. Okay, so we've got a, e, I, o, u, and sometimes y, and now we got everything else. Everything else is what we call consonants. There are some consonants that are kind of unique to Spanish, so we're going to take a look at those separately. You're going to have a video to watch this week that will talk about these separately. Okay, one thing you're going to notice, people always notice this right away, and they think, oh, that's weird. B and V will not sound any different. They will sound the same. And they will not sound like V, no teeth on the lip. Boom, no teeth on the lip. Bad, muy malo, es muy malo. No, los dientes en los labios. No. It will sound like the B. B and V will sound the same. Little kids growing up speaking Spanish at home in Mexico, they're in first, second grade, they take spelling tests, just like your kids took spelling tests. And you know what they get wrong on their spelling tests? Often the B and the V. And why? Because they sound the same. They sound the same. They're spelled differently, but they sound the same. So these two words are going to sound the same. Tubo,
Tubo.
tubo,
Tubo. Tubo.
and tubo.
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 They don't sound different.
Tubo. Tubo.
One's got a B.
Oh.
Okay. Sometimes they call this B grande, big B, or B con burro. Hee-haw, hee-haw. Yeah. Sometimes they call it B chica, little B. Yeah. Or B como vaca, V like cow. All right. So just know B and V will sound like a B, but it will be softer. It won't sound like this. Tubo, b. That won't happen. B. That won't happen. It'll be b. Okay. I had to sit for many hours as a 14-year-old in front of a microphone recording my voice, practicing this. And we were instructed to place a piece of paper between your lips so you did not press your lips too much. Oh, gosh. Okay, here we go. Here's our true silent letter. Silent letter. H, 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 H. H is the name of this letter. H, H. It will be silent 100% of the time, all the time. Only one, here's our one exception. If it is a CH combo, it will sound like the English CH. Okay? Every other time, if it's not a CH, if it's anything else, start of a word, middle of the word, doesn't matter. The H will make no sound at all. It is spelled, but not spoken. Again, little kids in spelling class in second grade sometimes get this wrong because it's a silent letter. So this word is hace.
Hace.
Hace. Not
Hace.
hace. Not ha se. Hace.
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 Hace. French speakers love this because H isn't pronounced in French. French speakers, of course, that is logical. Okay. Here we got the word for son, as in a child
Hijo.
that belongs to you. Hijo.
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 Hijo. So,
Hijo.
yeah, hijo. You don't hear the H, right? You hear an H in the middle. That's because of the J thing. We're going to look at that next, right? Hijo, hijo, hijo. Hijo, hijo.
Hijo.
Okay. Hijo. Bien. Here we get the letter J. J is J. J does sound like an H, except you got a little phlegmy action. Depending on which region you're in, which country you're in, some really do the phlegm wad, and some do a little softer pedal. It's a Ch. Ch. If you can only manage H, it's passable. You will be understood. You will have an accent. Congratulations. We all have an accent. Okay. H won't be, they'll understand the H, but the Ch is more natural. Ch. Okay. So let's look at two words with Ch. bajo,
Bajo.
bajo,
Bajo.
bajo, bajo means short.
Bajo.
Oh,
Okay. Here's something you eat. Ham, green eggs and ham. Here we go. Jamón,
Jamón.
jamón. A little harder to do that at the
Jamón.
start, isn't it? Jamón,
Jamón.
jamón. Yeah. Lots of names get J's, like Jaime, Jim, like Juan, John. Yeah. Like Jose, Joe. Okay. Yeah. All right. So jota is not a j, it'll be a j. Okay. Here's another sound. It used to be a separate letter of the alphabet. It is not anymore. That's a long story. You don't care. This is an Elye. Elye is a double L. A double L is pronounced differently than the la that you would expect. Okay. And it'll be kind of like a Y. This gets some variation, to be honest, in different countries and in different regions within different countries. In some countries, it's just a y, y. In some, there's a tiny bit of a J at the start of the y, 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 y. Okay? In Argentina, but only in Buenos Aires of Argentina, it's zh. So you don't want to do the zh unless you specifically are taking a trip to Buenos Aires, in which case, do the zh. Otherwise, don't do the zh. It's y or j. Really subtle. You got to listen for it. So, okay, let's take it let's listen to a couple of words. Llave,
Llave.
llave,
Llave.
llave,
Llave.
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 That means a key. You're going to hear that in our hotel theme class. Here's another word for street. Calle,
Calle.
calle, calle.
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 Perfecto. Bien. Okay.
Calle.
Here's another sound unique to Spanish. It is not the N. It is ñe, like onion. Most people don't get this
Ñe.
wrong. Yeah, this one is not hard. It's just a little different. It's got the squiggle on the top. It is a separate letter, and that is always a ñ. So, año,
Año.
año, baño.
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 Año is year, baño is bathroom. Okay, baño. The the rolled R, this is the thing that people fear. It is a rolled R. Again, it used to be a separate letter. It is no longer considered a separate letter because, yeah, there are like a bunch of old guys who sit around in Spain and decide this every year. They meet up for coffee, café, quién sabe, who knows. But R, if it is single, it'll have a simple trill. You'll get a separate video to listen to another day, not today. Simple trill is like one flap of your tongue. Ere, like butter, ladder, that sound. But we really trill it hard when it's a double R, or when R is the first word, our first letter of the word. Okay, so here we go. This is the strong trill, and you'll get a different lesson on that next week, not this week. Carro.
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 And I'm going to show you how this sounds different. A single R gets only one flap of your tongue. Caro.
Carro.
Caro.
Caro.
But double R is carro.
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 Caro.
Okay. Here's a double R. Perro.
Perro.
Perro. Perro.
Pero.
There is a separate word that is just pero.
Perro.
Pero means but, you know.
Perro means dog.
Yeah, I like it, but it's too expensive. Pero. But here's the word for doggy. Perro.
Perro.
Is trilling your R a deal breaker? No, not really. So if you struggle with trilling an R, don't stress. It is something that comes with time, with hearing it, with producing it. And next week, not this week, next week, you'll get a video on that. Okay? Yeah? So don't worry about the trill. Here we go. X, X. Wow. When you get to this X, X consonant, X, this does different things in Mexico, and sometimes even Mexicans struggle with it. When X, an X comes in a word that came out of indigenous languages in Mexico before the Spaniards came, it will get some different pronunciations. But the two that are most common are these two. EX, which comes out of Latin, and it's like English, so it's not a hard one. X. Exacto.
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 Not hard.
Exacto.
EX comes out of stuff we borrow in English out of Latin, and exacto. Okay. Extremo. Yeah. Extranjero. X. Often with geographical or with names for geographical places, particularly, when it comes in the middle, it'll often sound like a J sound, kind of like the J, the J. Mexico.
México.
We should never pronounce this Mexico. Mexico.
México.
México.
Mexico. Mexico.
México.
Mexico. Yeah.
México.
México.
Do know that
Mexico.
some Mexican places X can get like some different pronunciations, but that's not a deal breaker. It's not a big deal. It's not going to affect your communication in a restaurant, a store, or any place like this. Different letters in Spanish make a s sound. Different letters. Actually, 3 combinations, but here are 2. The Z will not make a buzz. It will sound like an S. And the S will sound like an S. So these words all have S sounds, even if they're spelled with a Z or an S. The word for the letter Z is seta, kind of like the Brits use Z to say Z instead of Z. Seta, and then S is just ese. So, but they both make the same sound. S. That's it. Yeah. Casa.
Casa.
And notice these are going to sound the same.
Casa.
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 They sound the same, but they're spelled, but they're different words. Casa is like hunt, like an animal. Yeah. Casa, house. Taza. Taza. Yeah. Taza, cup. And tasa, which means a rate, like charging tasa. Okay? Bien?
Casa.
Okay, bien. Vale. We're going to cover these 2, and then we're going to leave pronunciation. I'll let you read the last part because it's easy to read and easy to understand. Okay. C and G are 2 letters. Se, ge. Se. They are 2 possible sounds, but it depends on the letter that comes after the se, the letter that comes after the ge. These combinations get a hard sound. That means k. All right? Ka,
Ka.
ko,
Ka.
Ko.
ko,
Ko.
Ko.
k,
Ko.
with a consonant, like CLCR. Yeah? Okay. So we get marca,
Marca.
copa,
Marca.
Copa.
disculpe,
Disculpe.
claro.
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 K. Okay. Only in these 2 combinations, C will sound like S. So that means the C is going to sound like these sometimes. But it's got to be a certain combination. And that combination is going to be C-E-C-I. Se, and
Se.
C.
Sí.
Sí.
Se and C.
Sí.
By the way, this is Latin American Spanish. We won't get into Castilian. That means Spain Spanish. It does something slightly different, but it sounds like a lisp in Spanish, but it's not. But Latin America, anywhere in Latin America, here's how this will sound. Cerrado.
Cerrado.
Cerrado. That means
Cerrado.
closed. Like the store is closed. Cerrado.
Cerrado.
Cerrado. Or here's a word you're going to hear in the story. Cerca.
Cerca.
Cerca. Cerca. That means
Cerca.
nearby. Okay. And the CCC sound. Cien.
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 Cien means 100.
Cien.
Here's the word for bicycle. Bicicleta.
Bicicleta.
Bicicleta. Bicicleta.
Bicicleta.
Bicicleta. Bicicleta. Bicicleta. Bicicleta. Okay.
Bicicleta.
Bicicleta. Okay. So we have the hard k sound. We have the soft s sound. You're going to get a hard and a soft sound. Same thing, hard and soft concept with the same exact combinations. Yay! That's how we look at these together. So we're going to get the hard combinations. G, g, g sound for ga,
Ga.
go,
Go.
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 And G with a consonant like GR, GL. Yeah. Okay. Bien. Hard G, like you do in English. Gasto.
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 Salgo.
Salgo.
Gusta.
Gusta.
Grande.
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 Yeah. Bien. But here it's going to go to a soft sound, and the soft sound is going to be the throaty H. It'll sound just like the J letter. Ch, 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 ch. If all you can get out is a h, you'll be understood. You'll have an accent, right? Ideally, ch. A little flumwad action there. Ch. Okay, so we get, and here's where it's really hard in English because we do j, and that does not happen. General.
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 Your English brain desperately wants to say general. And people will look at you like, okay. General. General.
General.
Here's a stinky long word, but you know what? If you're in a restaurant, you may, if you are this type of person, need this word. Vegetariano.
Vegetariano.
Vegetariano. Vegetariano. Bien. Vegetariano. Okay. Vale. Bien. Here we get some he action. He. Gigante.
Gigante.
It means what it sounds like, giant. Gire.
Gire.
Gire means turn. Gire, turn. Gire, turn. Okay? Vale. So, hard sound, g. Soft sound, ch. The name of the letter itself is ge, like hey you. Ge. Ge. Okay? This you can read on your own because it's like no big deal. Yeah. Only thing I'm going to tell you is the L to sound really great. La, instead of just la. Yeah. You flip your tongue a little bit. La, right? But you can read that on your own. Bien. Okay. So, pronunciación. I have a whole segment on greetings, which I am going to have you read on your own after class. Okay. Greetings is a category of words. We're going to use our time to watch a video so that I can watch it with you and pause it and point out some things that are important. Greetings are just ways of saying hello, how are you doing, goodbye, see you later, stuff like that. Greetings and, words you say when you depart, when you leave. Okay. They are courtesy words, polite words we throw out all the time when we're in stores, in restaurants, on the street, asking for directions. These are just courtesy kind of words and greeting kinds of words. So what we're going to do is watch a segment of the video, not the whole video, but we're going to watch this together because here's one thing you're going to notice. In Spanish, there are different ways of addressing people as you. Okay? You, there is not one sole word for the word you. There is a formal you, meaning you don't know somebody well. You don't call them by their first name because you don't know them. Okay? You're like a guy in the store. Yeah. Or it's also used to show respect, especially to older people. Okay. There's another word for you, which is called tú, and that, okay, the formal you is usted, yeah, usted, and the familiar you is tú, T-U, tú. The familiar you is used for people who are of, like younger people, 20-somethings talking to each other, teenagers talking to each other, little kids talking to each other, and adults talking to little kids. Anybody you can call by their first name, rule of thumb, if you can call them by their first name, yeah, Juan instead of Señor Valdez, yeah, you can use tú with. So that's the familiar you. And in greetings, this is going to come up because there'll be slight, very tiny, teeny shifts or changes in the words for greetings, depending on if it's with somebody you know by their first name or somebody you don't know from Adam. You don't know them at all. So we've got tú, you, we've got usted, formal, you, we've got ustedes, you guys, plural. If I'm talking to two or more people, ustedes. Usted is you, formal. Ustedes is you to a group. Okay, so let's take a listen to a portion of this video. The reason that we're not doing the whole thing is they get into some long-winded things that you don't need for the stage you're at now. But we're going to watch about 4 minutes of this. Okay? Vale?
Buenos días.
Buenos días means
Good morning. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos
días. Buenos
good
días.
morning. Only use this in the morning before noon.
Before noon.
Buenas tardes.
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 Tardes.
From
Buenas
noon.
tardes.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes from noon till the sun sets, and literally till the sun sets. So that's me be different times of the year, depending on where you live, right?
Good afternoon. Use this from noon until sunset.
Till sunset, that's important.
The following
show you-
examples are short
Act it out.
conversations. We will first play the whole conversation and then break it down for you in English.
Hola, Mae, ¿qué onda?
¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
¿También? Pues cuídate.
Sí, tú también.
Adiós.
Oh my God. Okay, they're going to break it down. Break it down
Nos
means they're going to
vemos.
slow it down.
Hola, Mae, ¿qué onda?
¿Qué onda? A very Latin American way to say, what's up?
This is very Mexican. This is very informal. You don't use this like with a store clerk or some guy on the street. If you're 20 and the other person on the street is also 20 years old, it's okay and totally cool. So young people amongst young people. Okay. ¿Qué onda? It's like, hey, what's up? What's up? It's that. Okay.
This is used extensively in Mexico between friends. Only use this in casual or informal situations.
It's very slang.
¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Means, how are you?
And notice there's an S at the end. That's important. That S at the end is important. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
This is probably the
estás?
most common way to greet someone
This is standard. A standard, how are you? For a familiar person, you know by the first name, or to talk to a younger person.
after hola.
Bien, ¿y tú?
¿Y tú? Anytime you hear a greeting, you'll probably hear this shortly after. It means, and you?
So that's the reaction. ¿Cómo estás? Ah, bien. ¿Y tú? And you, because you ask about the other person as well, just to be polite. ¿Y tú? And there is the spelling of the familiar, friendly you.
It's polite to ask how the other person is doing.
Yes, it is.
También, pues cuídate.
Cuídate means
Here's cuídate. As you're about to leave, this is the take care. Cuídate.
take care.
Sí, tú también.
Tú también means you too.
You too.
Adiós.
Nos vemos.
Adios, the old standard goodbye. Used just as often in Spanish as bye is in English.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Bien, ¿tú qué tal?
Muy bien, gracias.
Bueno, nos vemos.
Nos vemos.
Okay. Fast. We're going to slow it down.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
¿Qué tal is a very general greeting. You can use
And this is like saying hi, but really, it's more how are you? It's like ¿cómo estás? It's exactly like ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás with an S on the end? ¿Cómo estás? But it's less formal than ¿cómo estás? Yeah. People may even combine ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? How are you? How are you? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal is very, very, very popular. Kind of slang, but not as slang as ¿qué onda? I wouldn't use ¿qué onda? Unless you're too young, like teenagers talking to each other use ¿qué onda? But ¿qué tal is super for
use this with anyone, regardless of their age or how well you
doesn't matter. Yeah. Not considered super informal, just friendly. Yeah.
know them. It
¿Qué
works
tal?
just like the phrase ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿tú qué tal?
Muy bien, gracias.
Bueno, nos vemos.
Nos vemos.
Nos vemos is a
Here's another way of saying adios.
Nos vemos.
Adios, for some people, is considered kind of final, like I'll never see you again. Dios, D-I-O-S. Dios is the word for God. Go with God idea, sort of like that. Yeah, vaya con Dios. That's the same thing. Yeah, adios. But nos vemos is see you later. Yeah, nos vemos literally is we'll see each other. We will see each other sometime in the future. We don't know when. Yeah, nos vemos.
common way to say
See ya.
see you. Literally, we'll see each other.
Jaime, ¿qué cuentas?
Aquí nomás caminando, ¿y tú?
También aquí paseando.
Bueno, nos vemos.
Cuídate.
Uh-oh.
Jaime, ¿qué cuentas?
¿Qué cuentas?
¿Qué cuentas? What story you telling? It's a friendly way. What's new? Yeah, what's going on?
Means what's new?
What's happening,
Like
man?
¿Qué onda? It's very casual.
It's very casual.
Use it with friends and people your age or younger.
Aquí nomás caminando, ¿y tú?
Aquí nomás is a very informal phrase. It means not much or just hanging out.
Very
It
Latin
literally
American.
translates to just here. But the whole phrase here was aquí nomás caminando, which means not much, just here walking.
También aquí paseando.
También aquí is the most common way to answer after aquí nomás. ¿Y tú? It simply means me too, just here. But we added paseando, which means going for a walk. So the whole phrase is también aquí paseando.
Bueno, nos vemos.
Cuídate. Now we're going to show you how to greet someone in a more formal situation.
These are more formal. So when you are with people you do not call by their first name, random strangers, people in stores, people in restaurants, there are more formal ways of greeting people.
Maybe when you are greeting your friends, grandparents, or someone you want to show more respect to.
Yeah, this is for anybody who is older than you or in a position of power that's greater than yours.
And position of power sounds like really kind of weird to Americans, okay? But, like you're talking to a boss. Yeah. You're talking to a manager. You got a problem in a store. You're in a bank. You're talking to somebody in a bank. Okay.
First, listen to this short conversation. Then we'll break it down for you piece by piece.
Doctor Fernández, ¿verdad?
Sí, mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto, soy la doctora Larios.
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien, ¿y usted?
Muy bien, también.
Qué gusto saludarlo.
Igualmente.
Que tenga un buen día.
Adiós.
Adiós.
Okay. Your brain's exploding. Don't worry. They're going to slow it down.
Doctor Fernández, ¿verdad?
Sí, mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. Much pleasure. Mucho gusto. It's a response when somebody tells you who they are. Yeah.
Mucho gusto means nice to meet you.
Mucho gusto, soy la doctora Larios.
Soy la doctora Larios.
Here's the I am word. Soy. Soy. Next week, I want you to come in and tell who you are to everybody on camera. There are two ways you can say who you are. So watch the other way. Soy with your name. Soy, right?
Mai said, I'm Dr. Larios. When you're meeting someone for the first time, you can say soy and then your name, or me llamo and then your name.
Ah, or me llamo and then your name. Both of these are okay to introduce yourself and tell your name so that the other person knows what your name is. Soy Marilyn. Me llamo Marilyn. Bien? Me llamo. And notice we've got the y sound. Me llamo. Me llamo. And both those words have to be connected. They have to be said together. Me llamo. Just llamo by itself isn't good enough. Me by itself certainly isn't enough. Me llamo. Me llamo. My name is. Okay?
They both mean I am. Me llamo literally means I call myself.
It does.
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo está?
With no S on the end. Here is an example of how greetings change. For a formal, how are you? No S at the end. Not como estás, but just como está. Como está. Como está is considered just more polite, more respectful when you don't know somebody at all, right? You're sitting next to them at a bus stop, sitting next to them on a plane, on a train. Yeah. Como está?
Notice we used como está instead of como estás. This is an important distinction. You should always use the como está form in formal settings.
Muy bien, ¿y usted?
Muy bien means pretty well. This is another common way to answer the question, how are you?
Muy bien, también.
Qué gusto saludarlo.
Qué gusto saludarlo means it's really nice to see you. If you're
That's a
talking to a
long phrase,
woman,
don't worry.
you should say, qué gusto saludarla.
Don't worry about that part too much. We'll just
If you
let
want
that
to
roll.
use this phrase with a friend or in a more casual situation, you would use the informal way, qué gusto saludarte, for both men and women.
Igualmente.
Igualmente, in this context, means likewise.
Kind of like saying same here. Mucho gusto, much pleasure. Yeah, like great to meet you, right? Mucho gusto. Me llamo Marilyn. Ah, mucho gusto, the other person says. And then I would probably say back, because I don't want to also say mucho gusto, I would say igualmente. Igualmente is saying equally, likewise. Same here. Igualmente. Igualmente. Igualmente.
You'll hear this often in small talk. You could
Small
also
talk, yeah.
use usted también instead, which also means likewise.
Que tenga un buen día.
Que tenga un buen día means
Here's a good way that you'll hear this in stores a lot. Que tenga un buen día. Que tenga un buen día.
Good.
Literally, that you may have a good day. Yeah, that you may have a good day. We just say have a good day. See? Que tenga un buen día. Que tenga un buen día.
have a good day. If you're talking to a friend or someone in a more casual situation, you would say, que tengas un buen día.
And notice, like you had como estás with an S at the end, and that is a more familiar, friendly. How are you? ¿Cómo estás? With an S at the end of estás. Tengas is for a friendly, have a good day. Instead of a formal, que tenga un buen día. It's que tengas. Que tengas un buen día. ¿Sí? Bien. Okay.
Adios.
That's all we're going to watch of that. ¿Sí? Bien. Okay. What you are also going to get is a set of notes about greetings, greeting words. You're going to get a series of notes. Those of you who are returning students, you've seen this before. You may skip that part. But for those of you who are new, you'll take a look at it. We've got some of these sayings written down, and a few extra ones we'll go over next week. Okay. Bien?
Bien.
Vale. Vale. Okay. I'm going to show you another thing. This is something that is going to be connected. We're going to have our storytelling. Ooh, it's storytelling time. I promised you storytelling. Here is storytelling. And with each storytelling video, you're going to get a vocabulary set. Okay. Storytelling is a technique, that's been going on since the 70s, 1970s. When you get a video that is a storytelling video, do not pressure yourself to understand every single word. No, 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 no. It is good enough to understand the basic ideas conveyed in the video. It is good enough. Okay? And if you desperately hang on to, I must understand every single word in order, you are handcuffing yourself. You are making it harder than it needs to be. Little children learn through storytelling. Okay? In language instruction, it has a technical term, which is comprehensible input, meaning I know the general idea. I may not understand every word of how it's combined, but I get the general idea. And that's how you should feel going through it. Okay? We're going to have time to listen to the video. You are also going to get vocab from the video. So this week, I think it's a good idea for you to look at the vocabulary first and listen to the story one more time during the week. Yeah. But look at the story first. Here are certain words. These are chunks or words that have a special meaning and just know what those words mean. You're going to hear the word I. I is spelled this way. It means there is or there are. Something is just out there. Está. Something is, and in this sense, it's going to mean it's located somewhere. Está. You're going to hear voy a, voy a, voy a. Voy a means I'm going to or I go to. You're going to hear me gusta. I like. Me gusta. I like. You're going to hear le gusta. Le gusta. He likes or she likes. See? Bien? These are kind of chunks of words. These are verb-oriented, action-oriented words. Here are non-action-oriented words. Cerca, near or nearby, close. Lejos, far or far off. A pie, on foot. A pie. And you're going to hear los días de la semana, days of the week. And those days, we start our calendar with what day?
Sunday.
Monday.
Sunday.
They don't. They start their calendar with Monday. So you're going to hear, yes. Whoop. You're going to hear days of the week. Whoop. Days of the week. Days of the week. But they're going to start with Monday. So they're going to be, here's what we use with you. Lunes.
Lunes.
Lunes. Martes.
Martes.
Miércoles.
Miércoles.
Wednesday. Jueves.
Jueves.
Jueves is a J, see? viernes,
viernes,
sábado,
sábado,
Domingo.
domingo. Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Domingo.
Wow, I'm out of practice. Domingo, 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 domingo. I guarantee you, this is how 8-year-olds learn these words. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo.
domingo.
And little kids learn this from repetition. So here's the point of, you're going to look at these before you watch the video, and then you're going to watch the video, but you're going to look at it, in more detail, of course, because you'll have more time. And we're going to do the story, and she's going to use the whiteboard to help us. It's not important you understand every word, just that you get the rolling idea of what's going on. Okay? Bien? I think I'm going to put on subtitles here. Does she have subtitles? No sé, she might not. Chicos, kids. And people use this all the time. Chicos. Soy yo. Oh, there she does. Mi casa, my house. Mi casa. Cerca, nearby. Cerca de mi casa.
We're not seeing any
Excuse-
pictures.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, we don't
Perdón.
see
I'm
anything.
sorry. Let me
No.
start that again. Gracias. Thank you. That's because I went from one share to a different share and I screwed up. We're going to back it up. Gracias. Thank you. See, this is why it's so important to interrupt me. We're going to back it up.
Hola, buenos días, chicos. Esta soy yo.
Soy yo. It's me.
Y aquí,
Here. Aquí.
mi casa,
Mi casa.
mi casa.
Mi casa. My
Cerca,
house.
cerca de mi casa, cerca, hay un parque.
Hay un parque. There's a park.
Cerca de mi casa, hay un parque.
It exists. Hay un parque. There's a
El
park.
parque es muy grande y
Big.
muy verde.
Very green.
Me gusta.
I like
Me
it.
gusta mucho.
Me gusta mucho. I like it a lot. Okay. Me gusta mucho.
Yo voy.
Voy. I go. Voy. I go.
Al parque
Voy al parque
4 veces a la semana.
4 veces.
Mira, La
4 veces a la semana. 4 times a week. 4 veces a la semana. Mira, look.
semana. Lunes,
Lunes,
el primer día de la semana. Martes,
martes, Tuesday,
miércoles,
miércoles, Wednesday,
jueves,
jueves, Thursday,
viernes,
viernes, Friday,
sábado,
sábado, Saturday,
domingo.
domingo,
Domingo.
Sunday.
La semana.
The week.
7 días.
7 días.
días. Aquí la semana.
La semana, the week.
Yo voy
I go
Voy al parque 4 veces a la semana.
4 times.
4 días a
4
la
días.
semana. Normalmente voy al parque los martes,
Los martes,
los martes, los jueves,
los jueves,
los viernes
los viernes
y los domingos.
y los domingos.
Voy al parque 4 días a la semana. Ahora, importante. Mira. Por la mañana,
Por la mañana. What time of day? She's got a little picture. Por la mañana. What time of day?
Sunrise.
Sun's coming out.
Sunrise.
In the morning. Por la
Sunrise.
mañana. In the morning.
por la mañana. Por la tarde,
Por la tarde. In the
Afternoon.
afternoon.
y por la noche.
Por la noche. At.
Night.
Bien.
¿Vale? Por la mañana,
Vale just means okay. Vale. Okay. Okay. She has a very Spanish twist instead of very Latin American. Still, sing.
por la tarde y por la noche. Yo normalmente voy al parque por la mañana.
Voy al parque por la mañana. I go to the park por la mañana.
In the morning.
In the morning.
No voy
No voy. I don't go. No voy.
al parque por la noche.
No voy por la noche. I don't go at
Night.
At night.
night. Okay, vale.
No. Cerca,
Cerca,
Cerca.
nearby.
muy cerca de mi casa, hay un supermercado.
Hay un
Ay.
supermercado. There's a,
Supermarket.
Market.
and they often shorten supermercado to super. Just so you know.
Supermarket.
Yeah, super.
Okay.
It's the same thing as supermercado.
Un supermercado. Normalmente voy
I go.
al supermercado una vez a la semana.
Una
Solo
vez.
una vez. Normalmente voy al super los lunes.
Los lunes. Voy al super los lunes. I go to the supermarket on
Monday.
Mondays. Sí.
Los lunes voy al supermercado para comprar comida. Voy
Para comprar comida. In order to do what?
Buy food.
Buy food. Comprar comida. Comida. Food. Okay. Comida. Bien.
al supermercado por la mañana. Por la mañana. Los lunes por la mañana. No voy por la tarde porque por la tarde en el supermercado hay mucha gente.
Hay mucha gente. And you'll see people actually do this.
People.
There are a lot of people. Hay un supermercado. There's a supermarket. Hay mucha gente. There are lots of people. People will do this. Sometimes they won't even say a word. They'll just do this. And they'll mean that. This, somebody walks into the restaurant, they do this. That means this is crowded. Hay mucha gente. Hay mucha gente. Hay mucha gente. There are lots of people.
Hay
Hay
mucha gente
mucha gente.
por la tarde.
Por la tarde, in the afternoon.
No me gusta. No me gusta.
Notice, no voy is I'm not going. No voy. And no me gusta is I don't like. Me gusta, no me gusta. See? We just put a no in front of it. Me gusta, no me gusta. Voy, no voy. Bien? Okay.
Yo voy al supermercado por la mañana porque Por la mañana no hay
No hay, there
mucha
aren't.
gente. No.
No hay mucha gente.
Por la tarde, sí. Hay mucha gente en el supermercado. Pero por la mañana, no. No hay mucha gente en el súper. Y eso me gusta.
And that I
Me
like.
gusta mucho. El supermercado está cerca de mi casa.
It's near my house.
Normalmente voy al supermercado a pie. A pie.
A pie.
No
Walking.
voy en coche.
No voy en coche.
No. No voy en autobús.
No voy en autobús.
A pie.
Voy
a
a
pie.
pie.
Muy bien. Cerca
Nearby. Cerca.
de mi casa
Cerca de
hay
mi casa.
un gimnasio.
Hay un gimnasio. What else is out there? Hay un gimnasio. There is. Hay un gimnasio. There's a gym.
Hay un gimnasio cerca de mi casa. El gimnasio es pequeño, no es grande.
No es
y
grande.
está
Not big.
muy cerca de mi casa.
It's
Yo
close.
no voy al gimnasio. No me gusta. No voy al gimnasio. Pero mi novio,
My boyfriend. Here she's going to talk about her boyfriend. Novio just means boyfriend.
Samuel, él va al gimnasio. Samuel
So boy means only I'm going, but he's going is va. Va. Boy, I'm doing it. Boy. He's doing it. Va. Va.
va al gimnasio.
Va al gimnasio. He goes to the
Normalmente
gym.
va al gimnasio 3 veces a la semana. 3 días a la semana. A Samuel le gusta mucho.
He likes it.
mucho.
Le gusta.
Pero a mí no. No me gusta. Yo voy al centro de yoga. El yoga
centro de yoga.
me gusta mucho. Voy
I like yoga.
al centro de yoga 2 veces a la semana. Normalmente voy a las clases de yoga los martes por la noche. Los martes
Los martes por la noche voy los martes por la noche. I go Tuesday night
por la noche.
por la
y
noche.
Los sábados
Los
por
sábados.
la mañana.
Los sábados por la mañana. Los sábados, Saturdays, por la mañana. In the morning. ¿Sí? Por la mañana. Mañana can mean tomorrow. Often it means in the morning, right? Por la mañana is in the morning.
El centro de yoga está lejos de mi casa.
Lejos. Está lejos. It is far away. No está cerca. Cerca. Lejos. Cerca. ¿Bien?
No está cerca. Está lejos.
Lejos.
Por eso voy
Therefore,
al centro de yoga en tranvía. En tranvía. No voy
en tranvía. Tranvía, tranvía is a tram. Yeah, see?
No voy a pie. No.
No
No
voy
voy
a pie.
a pie porque el centro está muy lejos de mi
Lejos.
casa. A nosotros dos, a mi novio
Both of
y a
us.
mí, a nosotros nos gusta mucho el café. Nos gusta mucho
We like
el café.
coffee. Café.
Nosotros vamos
We
a la
go.
cafetería una vez a la semana. Normalmente vamos nosotros dos.
And notice, vamos is now for a we go. Voy, just me. Va, he goes. Vamos, we go. Vamos. Vamos al café. We go to the coffee place, yeah?
Vamos a la
La
cafetería los domingos. Los domingos
Los domingos.
por la tarde.
Por la tarde.
Ahora, una pregunta.
A question.
Una
Una pregunta. A question.
para ti.
Para ti, for you.
Vas.
Do you go? Vas with an S at the end. Oh, ¿cómo estás? Is how are you? Friendly? S at the end. Vas. Do you go?
Al gimnasio.
Vas al gimnasio? Do you go to the gym?
¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Cuéntamelo en los comentarios. Muchas gracias por
Okay. You will need to listen to that. If you need to listen to that 3 times, congratulations, you're normal. Probably 3 more times. And I thought she had a little closed caption, but she does not. What you're going for is the big picture. I'm going to give you a little more structure with that vocabulary list. Now that I've got some ding, ding, ding things going in my mind of, I'm going to fill in a few more blanks. So I'm going to give you a vocabulary list, but just listen to how the words hang together. Yeah, see? What is important with the storytelling is not that you understand every single word in sequence, but that you pick out some vocabulary words that are useful and you get to understand how some words combine, like me gusta, I like le gusta, he likes. Yeah? Okay. Like voy a, I go to. Voy a, and then you name the place. Voy a. Okay? Because you can always fill in the blank with something else after the voy a. Voy al hotel. Voy al aeropuerto. Voy al supermercado. Voy a la farmacia. Yeah? The voy a says I'm going to a place. And then you can fill in different places at the end. Bien?
Bien.
Bien.
Bien? Bien.
Bien.
So listen to that a couple of times. Those of you who are returning students, you're going to get a little extra story to listen to. It's going to have audio by me because the people who wrote the little story did not give, well, it's paid to do audio. So you get my audio for free. Yay. Those of you who are just starting out probably don't do that story because it'll feel a little overwhelming. It'll feel longish. The rest of you who are returning, it'll be like, oh, this is a little continuation of what we did. Okay? ¿Sí bien? ¿Todo bien?
Bien.
Bien.
Muy bien.
Fantástico, fantástico. Okay, vale. Bueno, every time people say goodbye, they say goodbye 3 times. That is what they do. See? Entonces, see? It's what they do. Yeah. If you just say goodbye and you leave, they think, God, how rude. Did they not like me? Do I smell bad? What's wrong with me? Okay. So you have to say goodbye 3 times. Entonces, sí. Hasta luego, sí. Nos vemos y cuídate, sí. Hasta luego, nos vemos y cuídate. ¿Bien? ¿Todo bien?
Bien, muy bien.
Adiós.
Todo bien. Todo bien.
Excelente.
Nos
Muchas
vemos.
gracias.
Hasta luego.
Nos
Hasta luego.
vemos.
See you
Luego.
later. Hasta luego.